Good evening. We want to open the 782nd meeting of the City of Laurel Historic District Commission. Ms. Pritchard, would you call the roll, please?
Chairwoman Blitz, are you not calling the roll?
Do I call the roll?
No, I call the roll.
That's what I thought.
You want me to call the roll?
Please.
Chairwoman Blitz, Vice Chairman McSeany,
Here.
Councilman Les.
Here.
Mr. Cocoon.
Here.
Mr. DiLorenzo.
Here.
Mr. Dyer.
Here.
Mr. Hayes.
Here.
And we do have a quorum.
Thank you. Second item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the regular meeting of February 17th, 2015. Are there any comments or suggestions for changes of the minutes? Having here none, would you like to make someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes?
I move for approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion and a second to approve the minutes. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dyer.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes.
Chairman McSeany.
Abstain, I wasn't here.
Councilman Les.
Yes.
Mr. Cocoon.
Abstain.
Mr. DiLorenzo.
Abstain.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much. Item 3 of the agenda was going to be postponed until the next month. So we'll move on to item 4 for 383 Main Street, submitted by Mrs. Abel for the Board of Trade. If you'd like to come to the podium. Another one.
I'm not sure of the procedures.
Oh,
You'll have to guide me.
you go out that door.
Do I have to make a presentation, or do you just
You-
look and ask me questions?
I'm going to go through our regular standard rules of procedure. Would the staff please make an introduction of the application?
Good evening. The applicant, Ms. Jane Abel of the Laurel Board of Trade, is requesting approval of certificate number 033-2015 to install window signage at 383 Main Street. The sign will be a gold leaf trimmed in black vinyl decal, black and gold color scheme, and the message will read, Laurel Board of Trade, small business, big ideas, and have the business phone number affixed to the sign on the window. The proposed action request by the applicant appears to meet the requirements established in the city's code for zoning requirements, as well as the design criteria listed in the guidelines for the historic district. Staff recommends that you approve this item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. Abel, do you have any comments you'd like to make that are not part of the application?
I think it's all in there, all areas rendered on the that we provided to you will be in gold leaf trimmed in a very thin black line. The decal itself will take up approximately 20% of the window space. It will be placed on the back. There are 2 windows on that building. This is the one back farthest from the curb. All the letters are in line with the criteria requested for height size of 10, 5, and 3 inches. And I don't think I have anything else to say unless you have questions.
Other questions for the applicant?
I have one question. The Main Street travel sign, I know it's down now, but that won't be going back up. And no other signs will be going on the front of the building.
There is a flag sign that we had at the first location of 342 Main Street, which has been transferred up to this location. It takes the place of the Main Street travel flag sign. It's the wooden.
It's the one
Oh.
perpendicular to the street.
Okay, I know.
Correct. And there's a small, narrow, black and white sign that says the Laurel Board of Trade, which is not in the same spot that the Main Street travel sign was, and is approximately half the height of that sign. It's over the window, which will not include the decal.
So there will be nothing in that window?
Right.
Any other questions? Like to entertain a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion that we approve HDC 033-2015 as presented to the board, to the commission.
Is there a second? We have a motion and a second to approve HDC 033-2015. Would you please call the roll?
Mr. Clacoon?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Chairman McSaney?
Yes.
Councilman Les?
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
And the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, you're gonna sit down? Oh, no, I'm sorry. No, you're not. You can sit. Item 5 is 390 Main Street, submitted by John Nahra. Did I get that pretty close?
Not bad.
Okay. You're here, pardon me, would the staff introduce the item?
Good evening again. The applicant, John Nahra, representing PNC Bank, is requesting approval of certificate number 034-2015 to place a freestanding automatic teller machine, ATM, on the property of the rear of 390 Main Street. The ATM had already been placed on the property, and once the bank was told that they couldn't have it without receiving special exception approval, they enclosed it with wood treatments, and they obtained special exception approval from the Board of Appeals on February 26, 2015. So therefore, now they're just requesting the HDC approval for them to have the ATM machine become operable. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do you have anything you'd like to add to what's in the application?
Nothing more than what's in the application. It's, there's several pictures in there, which I hope you received.
Right. We did.
Consider it better than a rendering. It's
Okay.
a live mock-up of what,
Very good. Any of the commissioners have any questions or comments?
Mr. President, let me just ask a question.
Sure.
Does the bank own both the drive-through lanes? One on the outside of the canopy and the one on the inside?
I don't believe the outside, I believe it's just the one lane that's part of their property. Let me check the survey.
There's 2 lanes there that both go out to the street.
I don't know the answer to the question.
Yes. Okay. Does the bank own both of the exit lanes out of the back of the property onto Main Street? Do you have the survey?
I have the survey here I can share with you. Based on what I'm reading from the survey, it looks as though that's part of the adjacent parking lot. Reading into the way the parking's laid out on the adjacent.
George, bring them up.
The drive-through lane feeds from that separate parking lot. The outside drive-through lane.
It doesn't even show where the pins are. Pipes. Gives you a lot of measurements. Here's the reason I asked, okay? And I know it's been said that what was probably said at the Board of Appeals, well, geez, people aren't using the drive-through lane. That's all I use. You got a lot of old customers, that's what they use. They don't want to get out of their cars anymore. I mean, I've seen 3 or 4 cars stacked up there. So then I asked myself, well, why would we put an ATM? We have one out front. Why would we put an ATM in the travel lane for the drive-through teller, which also went through a special exception? I've been here too long. I was on the planning commission when that one went through the special exception. And because, I mean, I've got relatives that are getting older like me. They won't use ATM machines. They want to go deal with the bank. Are they going to walk in the bank or are they going to go through a drive-through? Now, the reason I ask is I went up to Dover, Delaware, and I went to the Dover Federal Credit Union, not the main branch on the base, but the one off the branch. And they've got a very, very narrow machine. They've got a similar situation to what you have here. And the reason I ask who owns that outer drive lane, they've actually put theirs in an island like this. It's only about this wide. And it doesn't impede the traffic through going through the drive-through lane. And it's in the middle of nowhere, and I don't see it being ripped off and driven off because they got a big metal pole, a couple of metal poles that sort of secure it there. I mean, I'm not objecting to this. I'm just wondering how you're going to impact. And are you from this area? Are you from Laurel?
I'm not from Laurel. I live in Washington, D.C.
Okay.
I've been there for a while.
This bank's been here 120 years, 125 years. There are people in this bank that go through this bank, that go through that lane, that have had accounts there for 45 years, 50 years. They never change. Been through 3 different hands, Citizens, Mercantile, PNC. And all I'm suggesting is I think you're going to hurt some of your business. I've already seen it. Okay? When the thing was operating, and somebody was there fumbling with the machine, somebody pulled up behind them, they finally just drove around and drove through the other exit lane and left. But again, it's your business. But I'm just questioning if somebody really thought about this. Okay, there's 2 side-by-side banks, and they deal with a lot of older customers. Both of them went through the process through the drive-through. Both of them went through the process for the ATM in the middle, in the front of the bank. And again, that was, to increase, I guess at that time I had some people telling me how they'll all be using ATMs eventually and nobody will want to talk to the tellers. And you got 3 people sitting in this bank doing customer service. They seem to be busy all the time. That's all I'm suggesting. I'm not objecting to this. I'm just questioning, are you going to hurt your business in the long run? You're the business. Actually, we got Bernie sitting here. Listen to what I'm saying. Okay, I'm just saying. I don't think there's been due consideration given to the client base. I know you've got a lot of new customers. They do use the ATM machine. I see them at 5 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. It's well lit. They don't seem to be scared about stopping there. But again, I think I've voiced my opinion. I'm not going to object to this. I'm just telling you, I think you need to be careful how you put these machines. You're going to lose some of the people that want that customer service. I mean, Sean sits in there. He knows everybody that comes through there. I'm sure there's times when nobody's going through there, but I'm not so sure the advantage you're going to have by picking up some of the ATM business will offset people waiting in line, some of these older people, some of these older customers, and sitting there patiently. But again, I voiced my opinion. I'm not a banker, okay? I will tell you, I worked for an agency where we thought we were going to get rid of customer service. And we're getting beat up every day because we can't answer the telephone, we can't take care of people walking in the door. So I voiced my thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Do you have any other branches that have a similar arrangement?
None that I could name specifically, but
Okay.
this,
I think you've got some branches where they have a separate lane, if I remember correctly. At least one I could, yeah, for
On
the
the newer
18.
branches, there's several
Yes,
lanes.
yes.
Um,
Like Tower Federal's done, they've done the same thing with some of the newer PNC. I'm just, I voiced my
If it doesn't
opinion,
work
that's
out, you
all.
can move it.
I voiced my opinion. One more question. What are you gonna do for somebody that does, so they don't hit this thing? Are you gonna put a bollard in front of it?
That's the intent is to put a gray bollard. That's typical practice.
Well, you need to make sure that even with the lights back there, that bollard is some bright color. I mean that. Okay, you may want to wrap it in they have the ones that have the heavy rubber around them or something.
The plastic, the sleeve.
Yeah, the rubber, whatever it is, hard rubber or something. I'm just worried about somebody hitting your machine. I don't think anybody's gonna throw a chain around it. There's enough light and enough people living there.
There's several cameras on it.
I know that they do
But
that.
people surprise you.
Okay, all right, thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other comments or questions?
Just one, I wanted to confirm what color it was gonna be. Is it gray or is it white? I can't quite tell from the photos.
It's
kind of
It's
beige.
a
It's
tan,
beige,
yeah, tan.
gray and beige. The color is do you have a color print of the?
Yes.
Yeah,
It's-
it's still kind of tough to
It was
tell.
a cloudy day, we took those pictures, but that's the color, there's no additional signage or valence being planned.
Any other questions or comments
In the beginning, I heard something about a wood structure or something around. Is
right now?
Just, when they shut the ATM down, they wanted to make it clear that it wasn't working, so they just enclosed the machine.
but it's gonna. The picture we see here is what we're gonna the end result.
Exactly.
Hearing no other questions, is there, invite a motion?
Mr. Chair, I'd like to move for approval of HDC 034-2015 as presented.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Well, a motion and a second. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Councilman Les,
Yes,
Mr. Cocoon,
Yes.
Mr. Dyer,
Yes.
Chairman McSeany,
Yes.
and the motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sixth item on the agenda is further discussion and/or vote for nominations for chair and vice chair.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
Last, I think the meeting we had the nominations, I nominated you for vice chair, and I appreciate your discussion with me. So I'm going to withdraw that nomination now at your request, and instead I'm going to nominate Doug Hayes for vice chair.
Thank you very much. Any other nominations or comments? I think only because I don't think it makes a I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference whether or not we hold a vote today or next month. Most likely, next month, the chairman will be here. Unless somebody wants to speak otherwise, I think we ought to defer the vote until next month.
Sure.
Okay?
Fine.
Fine.
Agreed.
Thank you very much. Any new business?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
we will be moving, the mayor has indicated, now I think in the last two council meetings, we're going to be moving to do, Marty, is it a full-blown master plan review?
Yes.
Okay. When we have done the full-blown master plan reviews, we stop a great deal of planning activity in the city because the staff will be totally involved. And it's going to be a bit more difficult this time since Carl Brendel is no longer with us. He was here for a couple of them. This is not an interim, it's a full-blown master plan review. There's many, many pieces to it. I would suggest, I'm only going to suggest this, that in alignment with that, we go ahead and finish our review for the additional structures. that we've been sort of putting off,
Oh,
okay?
yes.
We don't have to start that night, but I think we need to do is sort of align it with the master plan review so that it's one complete package when it comes to the, because that'll include the master plan review and any changes to zoning and so on in the city. But I'll alert everybody to that because the mayor has now made announcements at the last 2 council meetings to that effect.
Okay.
Okay, it's a big undertaking for the city. It's expensive because it ties up all the personnel back in the planning department. There's a lot of work that has to be done, and we're due.
Okay.
Okay, I just want to make that
Appreciate that.
announcement.
That's a good suggestion. I think we ought to go ahead and follow it and keep our eye on the ball.
I think Marty and Sonny will keep us advised, but I think at some point we need to move to have a special meeting to finish this document, discuss it and finish this document, okay? Make whatever changes we need to make and move it forward.
Thank you very much.
All right.
I agree. Any other comments or questions? Having heard none, is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
I'll give you those stamps.